I'm Sally Rooney, and I'm going to read a short excerpt from the beginning of my debut novel, Conversations with Friends. Bobby and I first met Melissa at a poetry night in town, where we were performing together. Melissa took our photograph outside, with Bobby smoking, and me self-consciously holding my left wrist in my right hand, as if I was afraid the wrist was going to get away from me. Melissa used a big professional camera, and kept lots of different lenses in a special camera pouch. She chatted and smoked while taking the pictures. She talked about our performance, and we talked about her work, which we'd come across on the internet. Around midnight, the bar closed. It was starting to rain then, and Melissa told us we were welcome to come back to her house for a drink. We all got into the back of a taxi together and started fixing up our seatbelts. Bobby sat in the middle with her head turned to speak to Melissa, so I could see the back of her neck and her little spoon-like ear. Melissa gave the driver an address in Monkstown, and I turned to look out the window. A voice came on the radio to say the words, 80s, pop, classics. Then a jingle played. I felt excited, ready for the challenge of visiting a stranger's home, already preparing compliments and certain facial expressions to make myself seem charming. The house was a semi-detached red brick with a sycamore tree outside. Under the streetlight, the leaves looked orange and artificial. I was a big fan of seeing the insides of other people's houses, especially people who were slightly famous like Melissa. Right away, I decided to remember everything about her home, so I could describe it to our other friends later, and Bobby could agree. When Melissa let us in, a little red spaniel came racing up the hall and started barking at us. The hallway was warm and the lights were on. Next to the door was a low table where someone had left a stack of change, a hairbrush and an open tube of lipstick. There was a Modigliani print hanging over the staircase, a nude woman reclining. I thought, this is a whole house. A family could live here. We have guests, Melissa called down the corridor. No one appeared, so we followed her into the kitchen. I remember seeing a dark wooden bowl filled with ripe fruit and noticing the glass conservatory. Rich people, I thought. I was always thinking about rich people then. The dog had followed us to the kitchen and was snuffling around at our feet, but Melissa didn't mention the dog, so neither did we. Wine, Melissa said, white or red. She poured huge, bowl-sized glasses, and we all sat around a low table. Melissa asked us how we'd started out performing spoken word poetry together. We had both just finished our third year of university at the time, but we'd been performing together since we were in school. Exams were over by then. It was late May. Melissa had her camera on the table, and occasionally lifted it to take a photograph, laughing self-deprecatingly about being a work addict. She lit a cigarette and tipped the ash into a kitschy-looking glass ashtray. The house didn't smell of smoke at all, and I wondered if she usually smoked in there or not. I made some new friends, she said. Her husband was in the kitchen doorway. He held up his hand to acknowledge us, and the dog started yelping and whining and running around in circles. This is Francis, said Melissa, and this is Bobby. They're poets. He took a bottle of beer out of the fridge and opened it on the countertop. Come and sit with us, Melissa said.